The following is transcribed.
Welcome to Condensed Bat-Supe. Now with 66% fewer superheroes than our regular podcast, which means Condensed Bat-Supe is even less nutritious, but still just as delicious. We're featuring episodes of the adventures of Superman without the caped crusaders. Tie on your capes for lots of desperate urgency, plenty of vehicular assault, and undercover peril galore. In this edition of Condensed Bat-Supe, the Unity House story continues with the next 2 chapters of the Hate-Mongers Organization. This is Chapter 9, The Trap is Sprung, as originally broadcast on April 26, 1946.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P, Pep. Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal, presents
The Adventures of Superman. Today, Superman is unaware of the grave danger faced by Jim Olsen when the young reporter is trapped while attempting to carry out a plan to expose the enemies of tolerance.
Say, gang, doesn't the golden sunshine look good to you when you get up in the morning? Yes, sir, almost as good as a bowl full of sunny, golden toasted Kellogg's Pep. And say, did you know that sunshine and pep have something in common? Sure, they both can help you build strong bones and sturdy teeth. You see, sunshine makes bone-building vitamin D for you, and every serving of Kellogg's Pep gives you your whole daily minimum need of that very same vitamin D. Mighty important. Pep has an energy vitamin, B1, too, more than twice as much as in sun-ripened whole wheat. Plus, lots of doggone good eating. And don't forget the exciting prizes, a comic button in every package of Kellogg's Pep. There's a brand new second series now, you know. 18 different buttons to collect and trade duplicates with your pals. Pictures of favorite comic strip characters, again, the Little King and Superman himself. They're mighty sappy looking and so easy to collect. You don't have to send in a single penny, not even a box top. Fact is, you can't buy these comic buttons anywhere. All you do is to make sure Mom keeps your family supplied with plenty of Kellogg's Pep and look inside every package for your exclusive prize. Ask Mom for P-E-P, Pep, the Sunshine Cereal, made by Kellogg, the greatest name in cereals.
And now, the adventures of Superman. In a daring and dangerous attempt to learn the identity of whoever is responsible for the organized campaign to build up racial and religious intolerance in the city of Metropolis, Jimmy Olsen, cub reporter for the Daily Planet, dressed in old clothes and masquerading as a young tough, visited the pool room hangout of a boy known as Muggs, the boy who set fire to Hoffman's drugstore and viciously attacked Danny O'Neill. It is Clark Kent's belief that Muggs and his gang of juvenile hoodlums are working for the organization behind the hate campaign. In yesterday's episode, as you remember, Jimmy met Muggs and, after paying a $20 initiation fee, was taken into the gang. However, when he left the pool room to call Clark Kent from a drugstore phone booth, he was followed by one of Muggs' lieutenants, a boy named Dutch, who overheard his conversation with Kent. As we continue now, Dutch is on his way back to the pool room to tell Muggs that Jimmy is a spy. Kent, over the phone, has instructed Jimmy to hang up and remain in the booth. Swiftly, in the bedroom of his apartment, Kent strips off the business suit and horn-rimmed spectacles of the mild-mannered reporter, revealing the red cape and blue costume of Superman.
Got to stop that boy. Stop him before he gets to the pool room. If he tells Muggs what he heard, we're licked. Up with the window. Out and away!
Leaping out into the darkness, the Man of Steel hovers for a timeless moment in curious flight, rockets across the city with the speed of a bullet. Below him now is the drugstore from which Jimmy phoned. His sharp X-ray vision penetrates the black curtain of night and picks out the capped figure of a boy hurrying along a street 2 blocks from the store. Down he plummets, landing in a narrow alley hidden from prying eyes. Reaching beneath his cape, he produces Clark Kent's clothes and quickly steps into them. In a matter of seconds, he is striding down the street behind the boy, catching up with him as he nears the corner.
Just a moment, son.
Huh?
I want to talk to you.
Ah, your father's Mustang.
Hey, come back here. Let's got that car. Look out! Oh, hit him, a stupid little fool.
It wasn't my fault. I had the lights with me. He ran right into me.
Nobody's blaming you.
Is he dead?
No, he's probably badly hurt. He's unconscious.
Put him in the car. I'll take him to a hospital.
All right, I'll go with you. Open the rear door.
Okay.
Hold it open wide. That's it.
Oh, it's terrible. Simply terrible.
All right, close the door and get going.
Where to?
The Metropolis Hospital. What does it look like, Doctor?
Well, it's hard to say, Kent.
Uh-huh.
No bones broken, but there may be internal injuries. We won't know until we do a set of x-rays.
Whatever it is, keep him in a private room and bill the Daily Planet. And above all, no visitors except myself.
Well, we'll have to report this to the police, you know.
Oh, that's okay. I'll clear it with Inspector Henderson. But remember, Doc, please, no visitors. I don't want that boy to talk to anyone.
Why not?
Because he knows too much.
Honest, Mr. Kent, I thought I'd suffocate in that phone booth waiting for you. What took so long?
Keep your voice down, Jim, till we get around the corner.
All right.
Okay, this is fine. Dutch is in the hospital, Jim.
In the hospital?
Yes. On his pool room, he ran across the street against the lights and was hit by a car.
Jeepers.
I don't think he was seriously injured. No broken bones. But he'll probably be kept under observation for a few days.
Well, then that means we don't have to worry. He can't tell Muggs what he heard in the phone booth.
Well, he won't talk for a while at least. Long enough to give you a chance to get the information we need.
Mr. Kent, how am I going to get it if Muggs is suspicious? If he keeps on sending guys out to follow me.
You've just got to remove his suspicions.
Yeah, but how?
Well, for one thing, Jim, you'll have to go back to the pool room and tell Muggs about the accident. Otherwise, when Dutch fails to show up, he'll suspect you.
Yeah, but how am I supposed to know about the accident?
We'll figure that out. Let me think.
Maybe if
Hold it, Jim. I've got it. Now, listen carefully. You go back to the pool room and tell Muggs that you were walking toward Market Street.
I was walking toward Market Street, Muggs, and all of a sudden I heard this car pull up short.
Yeah?
Turned around, and I could see he must have hit somebody. I ran over, but a couple of guys got there before me. They was carrying a guy who was hit into the car, and they were saying something about getting him to a hospital.
You sure it was Dutch?
Yeah, I got a good look at his face. I was going to tell the guys who were taking him to the hospital I knew him, but then I remembered what you said about keeping my lip button, so I didn't say nothing.
You played it smart. You opened up your trap, they would have took you to the hospital and asked you a lot of questions.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Well, what do we do now?
Nothing. We lay off. Dutch won't talk. Give him a phony name. There's only one bad thing.
Yeah, what's that?
I had a job for Dutch to do tomorrow night.
Oh, how about me doing it?
You?
Yeah, why not? I know the ropes.
You don't know what we're doing.
Oh, all you got to do is tell me.
You know anything about cars?
Automobiles?
Yeah.
Sure, I worked in a garage back in Philly.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, wait a minute. Hey, Charlie?
Yeah?
Anybody in the back room?
Nah.
Okay, Olsen. You look all right to me. Come on in the back room. Low down.
With his throat dry and his heart pounding like a trip hammer, Jimmy follows the young gang leader to the rear of the pool room. What lowdown is Muggs going to give him? We'll know in a moment, so stand by.
You know, I guess I'm a pretty forgetful guy. All week long, I've forgotten to put in a special plug for the girls who are collecting that brand new second series of comic buttons from packages of Kellogg's Pep. And everybody knows the girls get just as much fun out of these slick-looking buttons as the fellas do. No wonder. It's mighty exciting when Mom opens a new package of Pep to see which button you'll find inside. Maybe a character from this new second series that you don't have yet, like Andy Gump with his brush-like mustache, or Lord Plushbottom, or the Little King, or even Superman himself. Or maybe it'll be a duplicate, I'm trying to say, kids. Got a little mixed up, didn't I? So that you can have even more fun swapping with one of your friends. But whichever comic strip character it is, it's bound to be doggone smart-looking. Brilliant colors, red and yellow and blue and black, on a gleaming white background. These Pep comic buttons sure do show up when you pin them on your jacket or your dress or cap. And they're so easy to get. You don't send in any money, not even a box top. And you can't buy them anywhere. They come only as prizes in packages of Kellogg's Pep. So ask Mom to get you some Pep tomorrow and look for your prize inside the package. That's P-E-P, Pep, the Sunshine Cereal, made by Kellogg, the greatest name in cereals.
Behind a closed door at the rear of the pool room that serves as a hangout for Muggs and his juvenile gang, Jimmy Olsen, swallowing nervously, waits for the young gang leader to tell him what he wants to know. Who is behind the campaign to spread hatred and intolerance throughout the city of Metropolis? Dropping into a chair, Muggs tilts it back against the wall, lights a cigarette, and blows a funnel of blue smoke toward the ceiling.
Okay, here it is, Olsen. I'm going to deal to you right up the top of the deck, because I think you're the kind of guy I want working for me.
Gee, thanks.
Yeah, you used your head when Dutch got hit by the car. Plenty of guys would have opened up their yachts. So I'll come clean with you. Dutch was tailing you when you got hit.
What? Tailing me?
Yeah, I sent him out to check up on you.
Oh, yeah? What's the idea?
In this racket, you got to be careful. You blew him with a story about a guy named Chuck Connors telling you to look me up.
What do you mean, a story?
Okay, don't get sauce. I was wrong. Sue me.
Okay. Where do we go from here?
Now, look, here's a setup. We're working for guys with plenty of moolah. They got a job to do, and we're helping them out. We ain't doing it for love, but we ain't doing it for the dough alone, either. It's the kind of job we get a kick out of doing, because it puts the skids under some of them foreigners lousing up the country. What are you looking at me like that for?
Nothing. Nothing, only...
Only what?
I was just thinking. Ain't everybody in this country a foreigner? I mean, we all came from some other place, or our folks way back did.
Look, Stu, cut the talk. You know who I mean. We're out to knock over anybody who don't play ball. You get it?
Yeah, I get it.
Right now, these guys we're working for are out to bust up some kind of committee trying to raise dough to build a clubhouse for kids over on Sutton Street.
Oh, what's wrong with that?
Our guys don't like the setup. They got a Jew rabbi and a Catholic priest on a committee. And the way they give it out, they're going to open this clubhouse to any kid that wants to join. Don't matter if he's a Chinaman. How do you like that?
Well, if the place ain't built yet, how can you bust it up?
We're getting after the committee. We slipped it to one of them night before last, guy named Hoffman. Used to run a drugstore on the corner of Morton and 7th. He don't run it no more.
Oh, what happened?
We burned it down. But that's only the beginning. Tomorrow night we're going after a Mick, a guy named Murphy.
What are you going to do?
Wait till I tell you. We got it all rigged up to go over to see this.
Hey, Muggs, come on out here.
What's up, Charlie?
Dutch just come in. He says he got clipped by a car and they took him to the hospital.
Yeah, I know. How'd he get out?
Don't ask me. But he says he wants to see you bad. Here he comes.
Petrified, the blood in his veins turning to water, Jimmy stares at the squat, full-necked owner of the pool room as he announces the unexpected arrival of Dutch, the boy who overheard his conversation with Clark Kent. Visions of what happened to young Danny O'Neill at the hands of Muggs and his gang flash through Jimmy's mind. Through the open door, he can see Dutch walking slowly toward the rear room, and with each step he takes, Jimmy can feel the jaws of the trap he is in tightening. Frantically, his eyes sweep the room. There are no windows. The only escape is through the door, and that, he knows, is blocked. What will he do? What can he do? Gang, don't miss Monday's thrill-packed episode no matter what happens. Every moment of it is tense and exciting as Jimmy, with the trap sprung, fights for his very life. So be sure to listen Monday, same time, same station, for the episode entitled The Hand of Fate.
And remember, for breakfast, it's Kellogg's Pep.
For excitement, the adventures of Superman.
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC comic magazines and is brought to you Monday through Friday by the makers of Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal. Friends, next week, many communities will change time, and this program will reach some of our listeners at a different hour. Consult your local newspaper or mutual station for the exact time in your area. Say, kids, if you're training your dog, try rewarding him for good behavior with Kellogg's Grow Pup. There's a dog food that makes a hit with dogs right from the word go. Gives them swell, meaty flavor, and gives them 3 different kinds to pick from. There's Grow Pup Ribbon, Grow Pup Meal, and Grow Pup Pellets. All good for your dog. Grow Pup has vitamins and minerals. Helps build strong muscles and teeth and bones. Just tell that to Mother, and I'm sure that she'll want your dog to feed on Kellogg's Grow Pup every day. And be sure to be with us tomorrow for the thrilling adventures of Superman. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
And now, faster than a speeding bullet, Condensed Bat-Supe proudly presents Chapter 10 of the Hate-Monger storyline. The episode titled The Hand of Fate, which was originally broadcast on April 29th, 1946.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P, Pep. Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal, presents
The Adventures of Superman. Today, the net draws closer around Superman's young friend, Jim Olsen, as he comes to the attention of the unseen man behind the gang of young hoodlums, unknown leader of the group behind the organized campaign to promote bigotry and intolerance.
Hi there, gang. This is your pal Dan McCullough. You know, there are more reasons than you can shake a stick at why you fellas want to clean up every last bit of your breakfast bowl full of Kellogg's Pep these days. First off, there's the doggone good eating in this sunny golden toasted cereal. Then, there's the important nutrition you get in Kellogg's Pep. Your mom will tell you about that. Even better nutrition than in sun-ripened whole wheat itself. More than twice as much energy vitamin B1, for example, plus your whole daily minimum need of sunshine vitamin D in every serving. And here's the payoff, gang. Another reason why you'll want to eat every single spoonful of your morning dish of Kellogg's Pep. Cereal grains, like the famous whole wheat in Pep, have been picked out to give good grain nourishment to fellas and girls just like you all around the world. And these children are hungry. They need these grains to grow up strong and healthy, to be able to get fun out of work and play. So here's what you do. When Mom brings Kellogg's Pep home from the grocer's, make sure that there's no waste at your house. If you pour your own cereal, pour it carefully and eat up what you pour out. Tell your younger brothers and sisters to be careful, too, because, you know, you wouldn't want to waste food when it may mean that fellas and girls just like you might have to go hungry overseas.
And now, the adventures of Superman. Battling an unknown enemy, Superman, in his guise of Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for the Daily Planet newspaper, faces what may well be the most important assignment of his career, the war against racial and religious intolerance. Certain that a juvenile gang led by a boy known as Muggs is being directed by an organized group of hate-mongers, Kent enlisted the aid of Jimmy Olsen, cub reporter for the Daily Planet, to get to the higher-ups through Muggs and his gang.
Actually, Jim, what you'll be is a spy. But you must be careful. You know what happens to spies if they're caught.
Now, in the rear of the bullroom used by Muggs as a hangout, Clark Kent's dire warning rings in ears.
You must be careful. You know what happens to spies if they're caught.
The warning rings in Jimmy's ears because, at the moment, he faces exposure. One of Muggs' young lieutenants, a boy known as Dutch, who overheard a telephone conversation between Jimmy and Kent and was returning to the pool room to report to Muggs when he was struck by a car, has somehow gotten out of the hospital where he was taken following the accident. Limping slightly and with an ugly bruise on his left cheek, the boy approaches the rear room of the pool parlor where Jimmy, his throat suddenly gone dry and his heart pounding like a trip hammer, looks about frantically for some means of escape. But there is no escape. Muggs is standing beside him. The door is blocked by the approach of the one person who knows he is a spy, and the pool room itself is crowded with members of the gang. Jimmy stands rooted to the spot, almost as though the steel jaws of a trap had closed on his leg. Meanwhile, in Clark Kent's apartment, the telephone is ringing frantically, with no one to answer it. Again and again, the bell cuts through the silence of the empty rooms, demanding attention. Finally, a key turns in the lock. The front door opens, and Clark Kent enters the apartment, hurrying to the phone and lifting the receiver.
Hello?
Is that you, Kent?
Yes?
Good Lord, man, where have you been?
Well, I was out.
I know you were out. I've been ringing for 10 minutes.
Who's this?
Dr. Reynolds at the hospital.
Oh, hello, Doc. Sorry, I
Hey,
missed...
look, Kent, something's happened.
Yes?
That boy you brought in,
Yes?
the x-rays were negative. No internal injury.
Oh, that's fine. I'm glad to hear it. However, I still want
Wait
to...
a minute, Kent. Let me finish.
Go ahead.
The boy must have overheard one of the interns telling the nurse he had no injuries because he skipped.
He what?
He skipped. He sneaked out of the hospital. He's gone.
Great Scott.
He pretended he was asleep, and when the nurse left the room, why, he got his clothes out of the closet and sneaked down the back stairway. He must have been limping badly because he had a nasty contusion on his leg.
When was this, Doctor?
About 15 minutes ago, as near as we can tell.
15 minutes. Got to work fast. He's on his way to the pool room, and that's where Jimmy is.
What's that?
Nothing, Doctor. I'll be in touch with you. Thanks for calling. 15 minutes, huh? Well, it'll take him a half hour to get there 20 minutes by taxi. Chances are he'd take the bus. Now, let's see. How can I handle this? Got to prevent him from getting the Muggs, but how? As Superman? No. That would ruin everything. Wait a minute. I got it. I'll get Henderson to help me out.
Police headquarters.
Inspector Henderson, please. Clark Kent calling.
Hold on, please.
Right. Pool room's only 5 minutes from headquarters, and I can make it.
Henderson speaking.
Oh, Inspector, this is Clark Kent. Look, I need your help, and I need it in a hurry. I'd like one of your uniformed officers, either Sergeant Malloy or Lieutenant Quinn, to meet me on the northwest corner of 3rd and Crescent as soon as possible. I haven't time to tell you what it's about.
Now, would you mind telling me, Mr. Kent, what you're looking for in a pool room?
You'll see once we get upstairs, Sergeant. Follow me. And remember, let me do all the talking.
Well, not having the faintest idea what this is all about, there isn't much talking I'll be doing.
Watch these steps.
Oh, dear, it's a wonder they wouldn't have a light a man could see by.
Keep your voice down, Malloy. Now, look. We may have to make an arrest, Sergeant, once we get up there.
And who would I be arresting?
You know Jimmy Olsen, don't you?
The boy that works on the paper with you and Miss Lane?
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's the one I may want you to arrest. If you do, don't recognize him.
Now, what sort of shenanigans have you got up your sleeve, Kent?
Just do as I say, Sergeant, please.
All right, you're the boss. The inspector said I was to take your orders.
Fine. All right. Here we are. You all set?
Go ahead.
Come on, Sergeant. All right, stay where you are. Don't move. Nobody's going to hurt you.
And if you don't move, you won't. All right, now,
There's the boy we want, Sergeant. Just going into that back room. Come on.
Oh, the devil's that. Close the door in our faces.
All right, we'll get it open.
Open up in the name of the law. Come on, I said. Ah, that's better. Now, which one of the three was it?
The boy with the bruise on his face. We'll take him back to the hospital.
Come on, you rascal.
And you. What's your name?
Who, me?
Yes, you. What's your name?
Why, Jimmy.
We'll take him too, Sergeant. Let's go.
Rushing the boy known as Dutch out of the pool room before he has a chance to tell Muggs that Jimmy Olsen is a spy, and taking Jimmy along in a surprise move, Clark Kent, at least for the moment, saves his plan from failure. The plan to learn the identity of the hate mongers behind Muggs and his gang. Now what will happen? We'll know in a moment when we return for today's exciting climax.
You know, gang, people in ancient times used to think the sun so important they used its picture as a symbol of goodness and light. And that might hold for nowadays, too, because the sun makes that wonderful sunshine vitamin D for you that helps build strong bones and teeth. That's one reason Mom wants you to clean up every last spoonful of your morning dish of Kellogg's Pep. Because this sunny golden toasted cereal gives you your whole daily minimum need of sunshine vitamin D, vitamin B1, too, and energy vitamin, more than twice as much as in sun-ripened whole wheat, plus loads of downright sunny, crisp goodness. And, gang, when Mom reminds you to eat all of your bowl full of Kellogg's Pep, she's thinking of somebody else, too. Yes, she's thinking of young fellows and girls just like you who are going hungry these days all over the world. And she knows that wasting cereal here might mean less of the good golden cereal grains for those hungry children overseas. Because grains like the famous whole wheat and Pep have been picked out to feed them and to help them grow up sturdy and strong. Keep that in mind, won't you, when Mom brings home a package of Kellogg's Pep from the grocer's. Don't let one single flake be wasted. If you pour your own cereal, pour it carefully and eat all that you pour out. And tell the rest of your family to be careful, too. Of your part of this job of taking care of hungry boys and girls overseas.
With Dutch once more back at the hospital, this time under police guard, Clark Kent and Jimmy Olsen returned to Kent's apartment. But meanwhile, Muggs, the young gang leader, frightened at what he thinks were the police arrests of Dutch and Jimmy, has hurried to report to the man he has never seen, the mysterious individual who directs the activities of the hate-mongering organization, and whose voice now comes to Muggs from behind a thick plush curtain.
Are you sure they said they were taking the boy back to the hospital?
Yeah, that's what the guy in plain clothes said.
What about the other boy? What was his name?
Olsen. They didn't say nothing about him. They just took him along.
And all this happened because of a street accident?
Yeah, Dutch got clipped by a car. Olsen seen it happen and come back to tell me.
This Olsen boy, can he be trusted to keep his mouth shut?
Yeah, I think so.
You think so? How much have you told him?
Not much.
How much, you little fool?
Nothing important. He's all right. You don't have to worry.
Your assurance that I don't have to worry is very comforting. Now you listen to me. If I've told you once, I've told you a dozen times. I don't want you or any of your roughnecks mixed up with the police.
How could I help it if they got...
I'm not blaming you for this. I'm just repeating my warning.
Okay.
We're making good progress, and I don't want anything to happen that might interfere with it. How about the two boys? One you say was taken back to the hospital.
That's what the dicks say.
It's probably correct. The stupid little fool had no business leaving until he was discharged. What about the other boy? Olsen, you said?
Yeah?
Any first name?
Yeah, Jim.
Jim Olsen. All right, you can forget about it. I'll have my lawyer check with the police and find out why he's being held.
Well, maybe that ain't so smart. Maybe we ought to keep clear of it.
Are you holding anything back?
Oh, no, I ain't holding nothing back. I just thought that...
I'll do all the thinking, Muggs. Want to know why they arrested that boy. There must be a reason.
Cold and hard, the voice from behind the plush curtain, unknown to either Kent or Jimmy, has stumbled on another method of exposing Jimmy as a spy. If the police are contacted, there will be no record of Jimmy's supposed arrest. And even more serious, someone in the police department is bound to recognize Jimmy's name and identify him, not as a tough young hoodlum, but as a reporter for the Daily Planet. Then what? Gang, there's excitement ahead and a thrill a minute as we get deeper and deeper into this story of Superman's most important battle, the battle against the forces of hatred and prejudice. So don't miss tomorrow's 10th episode entitled A Trick of Fate.
And remember, for breakfast, it's Kellogg's Pep.
For excitement, the adventures of Superman.
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC comic magazines and is brought to you Monday through Friday at the same time by Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal. Say, if you want your dog to give you the glad eye, try giving him Kellogg's Grow Pup. There's a dog food that's as good as they come. It's got a swell, meaty flavor that goes over big with dogs. And there are 3 kinds of Grow Pup. There's Grow Pup Ribbon, Grow Pup Meal, and Grow Pup Pellets. All good for your dog. Grow Pup has vitamins and minerals, helps build strong muscles and teeth and bones. Just tell that to Mother, and I'm sure that she'll want your dog to feed on Kellogg's Grow Pup every day. And be sure to be with us tomorrow for the thrilling adventures of Superman. This is the world's largest network, the Mutual Broadcasting System.
And now, it's a Condensed Bat-Supe Extra Helping, because sometimes plans go awry and nobody gets anything but hungry. This extra helping features a madcap misunderstanding involving who else but our Miss Brooks, as originally presented on November 27th, 1949.
Colgate Dental Cream to clean your breath while you clean your teeth and help stop tooth decay, and Luster Cream Shampoo for soft, glamorous, caressable hair bring you Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden. It's time once again for another comedy episode of Our Miss Brooks, written by Al Lewis. Well, last Thursday was Thanksgiving Day, and most of us realized that we had quite a bit to be thankful for. Even our Miss Brooks, who teaches English at Madison High School.
Yes, a holiday means a lot to me. First, it gives me an opportunity to relax and count my lack of blessings. And second, it offers a chance to catch up on several days' brooding. But this Thanksgiving was different. I knew it was going to be when I joined my landlady at breakfast last Wednesday morning. Good morning, Mrs. Davis. Did you have a nice night?
Wonderful, Connie. I didn't sleep a wink.
That sounds like fun.
I was planning my menu for tomorrow. It's Thanksgiving, you know, and I wanted something special for Minerva and me.
Minerva? Oh, there you are, you cute little kitten.
Where is she, Connie?
Taking my stocking off with her cute little paws. Stop it, Minerva. Now get away from my stocking. Either get away from those or knit me a new pair with that ball of yarn you play with.
Go out to the kitchen, Minerva. I do want you to hear about tomorrow's menu.
What are you having, Mrs. Davis?
Minerva's favorite dish, SQUAB. It doesn't do a bit of good to spell things out anymore.
I guess she's too old for that. Please go into the kitchen, Minerva. There's some milk out there. Right under the SINK. Don't tell me she slammed the door behind her.
No, that was me, Connie. I wanted to show you the squab I got for tomorrow.
Oh, I'd like to see it.
Well, here it is.
Where? Oh, right there behind that carrot.
It isn't very big, is it?
I've seen stuffing with larger drumsticks.
You know, Connie, I was all ready to get a nice 10-pound turkey yesterday when the clerk at the market said something that made me change my mind.
What did he say?
$8.30.
Well, that is a pretty rude remark.
I'm afraid I was a little testy when I complained about the price. Anyway, when I demanded something cheaper, this is the bird he gave me.
He certainly did.
Well, it'll be enough for Minerva and myself. I suppose you've already been invited somewhere for turkey and all the fixings.
Where would you suggest?
Hasn't Mr. Boynton asked you out for Thanksgiving dinner, Connie?
Not yet, Mrs. Davis, but this morning he's going to be exposed to the most thorough opportunity to do so.
Good.
Of course, Mr. Boynton's been on a very strict budget lately. He probably can't afford any turkey dinners.
Then you bring him back here with you, Connie.
Oh, that's very sweet of you, Mrs. Davis, but that squab...
We'll make it do. Remember the old saying, there's always room for just one more.
In this case, you must mean one more squab. Oh, but thanks anyway, Mrs. Davis. After all, we've still got our health, which is more than I can say for that squab.
Of course, I'd rather see you eat a nice turkey dinner tomorrow. Maybe you could wangle yourself an invitation from one of your friends.
Oh, please, Mrs. Davis. Oh, that must be Walter Denton. He's giving me a lift to school. Be right there, Walter.
Why don't you find out what his folks are planning for tomorrow? Maybe you could get yourself invited there.
I'm surprised at you, Mrs. Davis. Why, I've never forced myself on anyone in my life.
Connie, take another look at that squab.
Like I say, Walter's mother may not know it yet, but there's always room for just one more. Oh, it certainly is nice weather for Thanksgiving, isn't it, Walter?
It's more than nice, Miss Brooks. This air is absolutely succulent. It's downright savory and delicious.
One more crack like that, and I'll be gnawing on the steering wheel. Tell me, Walter, how do you usually spend Thanksgiving?
Well, usually, Mom cooks a big turkey and we have dinner around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Gosh, I'll never forget last year's meal. First, we had a fresh fruit cup, then some delicious vegetable soup, and then this big golden brown turkey was served with a special dressing made out of chestnuts and raisins and stuff, and... You want to hear the rest of it, Miss Brooks?
Certainly. Just pass me a blotter and keep talking.
Well, I don't remember all the dishes, but the hot mince pie was really tops. And my mom is just about the best cook in this town.
And like most good cooks, she probably prepares more food than she really needs.
Oh, sure. Out of last year's turkey, the whole family had turkey, turkey giblets, turkey sandwiches, and turkey hash.
That's because you didn't invite enough guests over for Thanksgiving dinner. You know, Walter, I've often thought that people who are so close to each other all year round should somehow manage to spend their holidays together as well.
What kind of people are you talking about, Miss Brooks?
Well, school teachers and students, for example.
Who needs teachers on a holiday? I mean, most teachers you get enough of during school hours. If present company accepted, of course. Well, you're a lot different, Miss Brooks.
I know, I'm hungrier. Look, Walter, about spending Thanksgiving together, if you're planning to be with your folks...
Oh, but I'm not, Miss Brooks. Now, my mother and Dad are going out of town for the weekend. It's my Dad's first vacation in 2 years.
Well, how come you're not leaving town with them?
It's my Dad's first vacation in 2 years. Oh, he loves me, but he thinks I'm a little wearing in spots. So I'm staying over at Stretch Snodgrass's house until next week.
Oh, I see. Then you'll have Thanksgiving dinner with Mr. and Mrs. Snodgrass.
No, ma'am, they're going away with my folks. They're good friends, you know, just like Stretch and me. But, Miss Brooks, I think your idea about spending Thanksgiving together is swell.
You do?
Sure. And why don't you and Stretch and me have dinner tomorrow?
Dinner? Well, that might be very nice, Walter.
Oh, great. Then Stretch and I'll be over to your place at 3 o'clock sharp.
My place?
Oh, yeah. That is, if you still want us.
I wouldn't be without you. But, Walter, Mrs. Davis did the shopping yesterday, and there just weren't any good-sized turkeys left that she could afford. So what she bought was a very
what she
small...
bought isn't important, Miss Brooks. What counts is spending Thanksgiving with people who mean something to you. Gee, the Pilgrims certainly had it all over us modern characters. Hell, when a pilgrim wanted to celebrate the holiday, he just picked up his musket and shot himself a turkey.
At the current prices, Walter, the only way I'll have a turkey tomorrow is if I pick up a musket and shoot myself a butcher.
Come in.
Good morning, Mr. Boynton. I just wanted to talk to you for a minute before your first class.
Well, I'm glad you dropped in, Miss Brooks. I've got some rather exciting news this morning.
I'll be glad to. What is it, Mr. Boynton?
Well, do you remember the raffle ticket I bought last month in Marty's malt shop?
Oh, on that green Adams hat with the red feather?
No, on a tom turkey. They had the drawing last night, and I won. Isn't that wonderful?
That is what I call the coincidence of all time.
Coincidence?
Why do you think I stopped by your laboratory this morning?
Well, I don't know.
To invite you over for Thanksgiving dinner tomorrow.
Well, that is nice of you, Miss Brooks. I'll be happy to come over. About what time will you be expecting me?
I'll be expecting you and Tom about noon.
Tom? Oh, you mean the turkey. Well, I'm afraid he won't be with me, Miss Brooks. You see, at this very moment, the turkey is on a train headed upstate.
Why? Did he get fed up with our climate?
No, I sent him up to my folks' place. Unfortunately, I couldn't afford to visit my parents this year, but Well, now they'll have something to remind them of me anyhow.
Must be a very tall turkey. What did he weigh, Mr. Boynton?
Oh, about 18 pounds. Of course, what I'd do with an 18-pound turkey, I'll never know.
Until tomorrow. Well, I'd better be running along now. On second thought, you needn't get to the house until 3 or 3:30. On third thought, you can back out of the whole thing if you want to.
Back out? Why, I should say not. I'll be there all right, and thanks for the invitation.
You're welcome. But, Mr. Boynton, if you're expecting the conventional Thanksgiving Day dinner, you're liable to be a little disappointed. I'm just not having it.
Oh, what are you having?
So far, Walter Denton and Stretch Snodgrass.
Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden, will continue in just a moment. But first, here is Vern Smith.
Now, proof that brushing teeth right after eating with Colgate Dental Cream helps stop tooth decay before it starts.
Continuous research, hundreds of case histories, makes this the most conclusive proof in all dentifrice research on tooth decay.
Eminent dental authorities supervised hundreds of college men and women for over 2 years. One group always brushed their teeth with Colgates right after eating. The other followed their usual dental care.
The group using Colgate Dental Cream as directed, using Colgates exclusively, showed a startling reduction in average number of cavities, far less tooth decay. The other group developed new cavities at a much higher rate. No other dentifrice offers proof of these results.
Modern research shows decay is caused by mouth acids, which are at their worst right after eating. Brushing teeth with Colgates as directed helps remove acids before they harm enamel. Yes, Colgates contains all the necessary ingredients, including an exclusive patented ingredient for effective daily dental care.
So remember, always use Colgate Dental Cream to clean your breath while you clean your teeth and help stop tooth decay.
Well, Thanksgiving Day arrived right on schedule, mostly because I couldn't do anything to stop it. After breakfast, I headed straight for the kitchen. There, I took a good look at Mrs. Davis's squab. Then I took an aspirin. Then I gave the squab an aspirin. Then I decided to make Mrs. Davis a full partner in my panic. Oh, this is terrible, Mrs. Davis. We can't possibly serve 5 people with this amount of food.
Calm down, Connie. We'll make out some way. I've got cans of salmon in the house and some cheese and crackers and tidbits of one sort or another.
But one doesn't serve tidbits for Thanksgiving dinner. Oh, I wish that bird looked bigger. Did you stuff him again since we last discussed it?
I've stuffed him 5 times since then, Connie. In fact, the last time I went to fill him up, I got the feeling that he was trying to kick my hand away.
Oh, it's no use, Mrs. Davis. It just won't work.
I still think you should follow the advice I gave you yesterday, Connie, and get yourself invited out for a real turkey dinner.
But I've already asked Mr. Boynton to join me.
Then get him invited along with you.
Well, what about Stretch Snodgrass and Walter Denton?
Take them along, too.
Why not? And while we're at it, why don't you and Minerva join our happy little group?
We'd love to, Connie. Where are we going?
I don't know where you're going, but I'm going to take another aspirin.
I'm sure the Conklins would like to have you over. I ran into Martha yesterday, and she told me that she was all ready to carve a huge turkey.
Oh, is she fighting with Mr. Conklin again?
Now, don't be silly, Connie. Martha even remarked yesterday that she was hoping Mr. Conklin would ask some of the teachers in to share their dinner.
I can just picture that. If Mr. Conklin saw any teachers at his dinner table, he wouldn't know what to bite first.
That doesn't apply to Mr. Boynton, though. Osgood is quite fond of him. And he's also extremely taken with Stretch Snodgrass. Thinks he's the best athlete Madison's ever had.
Well, what about his attitude toward me?
Call anyway. Remember, Connie, pride goeth before a fall. You've got to make a hit with Mr. Boynton. Here, I'll dial the number for you.
Oh, but Mrs. Davis, Mr. Conklin can't stand the sight of Walter Denton.
Nonsense,
I know he
dear.
doesn't...
His daughter Harriet is crazy about the boy.
Hello?
One moment, please. Miss Brooks is calling. Here, Connie.
Oh, hello?
Oh, hello, Miss Brooks. This is Harriet. Gee, I'm glad you called. You're having Walter Denton over for dinner, aren't you?
That's the original plan, Harriet,
I
but
wish we could all have dinner together, Miss Brooks. I was just talking to Mother about it this minute.
You were? Well, now that's funny. I wanted to talk to Mother about the same thing.
Wonderful, Miss Brooks. Wait a minute, I'll put her on.
Thanks, Harriet. Harriet and her mother were just talking about getting together for dinner, Mrs. Davis.
Hello, Miss Brooks.
Hello, Mrs. Conklin.
Forgive me if I talk rather quietly, but Mr. Conklin's taking a nap in the living room. He needs the rest, you know. He's been rather irritable lately.
I know, for the last 5 years. We've known each other for 5 years now, and, well, the reason I called...
Harriet told me, Miss Brooks. I just know you feel exactly as we do, that people should share their Thanksgiving joy with their friends.
That's right, Mrs. Conklin. You understand, though, that it isn't just me. I've already invited Walter, Stretch, and Mr. Boynton.
The more the merrier, I always say.
Well, I'm glad you always say that, Mrs. Conklin, because my little party lacks just one thing which you and only you can provide.
What a beautiful way to put it. I can only say, Miss Brooks, that we'll be proud and happy to share Thanksgiving dinner with you and your friends.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Conklin.
Thank you, my dear. Harriet and Mr. Conklin and I will be at your place at 2 o'clock sharp.
It's almost 1, Mother. Don't you think we should wake Daddy?
In a minute, Harriet. Did you take our turkey down to the mission like I told you?
Yes, Mother. I just got back. They certainly were grateful. The man said it would feed almost a dozen people who ordinarily would go without any Thanksgiving meal at all.
Fine, dear. I know your father will be happy at the thought of sharing with our lesser privileged citizens. Now go on in and wake him up, Harriet.
Yes, Mother. Daddy?
Pass some more white meat, please.
It's time to get up, Daddy.
What? What's the matter? Oh, it's you, child. What time is it?
1 o'clock. How do you feel after your nap?
Fine, Harriet, just fine. Except for one thing.
What's that?
I could eat my weight in wildcats. Martha! Oh, Martha!
Yes, dear? What is it?
Let's not wait till 2 o'clock for dinner. I'd like to eat right now.
Oh, but Osgood,
I saw that turkey in the oven when it was finished this morning, Martha, and I just can't get it out of my mind. Oh, it sure smells good, too.
You must have a pretty long smeller, dear. We gave our turkey to the folks who run the mission. We're going out for dinner.
Oh, but I don't want to go out. I want to eat in my robe and slippers and... You gave our turkey to whom?
To the mission, dear. It's like a municipal shelter, you know.
The man said our turkey would feed almost a dozen underprivileged citizens.
Oh, he did. Well, teachers are underprivileged citizens, too. But I don't give them my Thanksgiving dinner.
Now, calm down, Osgood. This is no day for your high blood pressure to get out of hand. We're going over to Margaret Davis' place to have dinner with Miss Brooks and some of her friends.
Miss Brooks? Who needs teachers on a holiday?
Daddy, Mrs. Davis is a very exotic cook. I'm sure she'll have some wonderful dishes prepared for you.
But I don't want Mrs. Davis's dishes. I want turkey. Turky, turkey!
Of course, dear. Now, everyone buys too much for Thanksgiving dinner. Otherwise, we'd have brought our turkey over to Miss Brooks. But as it is, think of the joy you're sharing with the people at the mission, Osgood.
Joy my foot. The food at Miss Brooks' place had better be good today. Good? It had better be great!
Every time I tried to call Mrs. Conklin back, the party line was in use. Now they don't answer. They're probably on their way over here this minute to eat dinner or not to eat dinner.
Please, Connie, you're beginning to sound like Hamlet. Don't worry so about the Conklins. They'll probably bring their turkey over with them, and we'll have plenty.
Do you really think so, Mrs. Davis?
We'll soon know, Connie. Will you answer the door, please? I'm trying to find some more cans of salmon, just in case.
All right, Mrs. Davis.
Happy Thanksgiving, Miss Brooks.
A very happy Thanksgiving, Miss Brooks.
Hello?
The same to you. But is this all the party?
Well, what do you mean, Miss Brooks?
I mean, just you three? Nothing waiting out in the car or anything?
Well, we were going to bring our turkey along, but we know what a well-stocked larder you folks must have, so we donated it to the mission.
The mission?
One of my favorite charities. There's no joy like sharing. May we come in now and start sharing yours?
Of course, Mr. Conklin. If you'll just sit here in the living room, I'll go back to the kitchen and tell Mrs. Davis you're here.
Oh, Harriet and I will go back and help out, Miss Brooks. You've done enough for one day. Why, I'll bet you worked like a beaver this morning.
Gnawed through 6 fingernails. Oh, I didn't do too much, no.
Come on, Mother. I'll fix the salad dressing that new way you showed me.
All right, dear. And I'll tell Mrs. Davis about the new things we've been doing with parsley.
Never mind the side dishes. Let's just get that turkey to the table pronto, huh?
You chat with Miss Brooks, dear. We'll just be a little while.
We'll make it snappy. I could eat my weight in wildcats, Miss Brooks.
If they come in cans, you may get the chance. I mean, we'll be sitting down as soon as the others arrive, Mr. Conklin.
Oh, yes, I forgot. You're having some of your friends in. I hope that lame-brained dunce, Walter Denton, isn't expected.
Want some popcorn, Mr. Conklin? Or potato chips?
No, thanks. Who's coming to this dinner, Miss Brooks?
Well, Mr. Boynton, for one.
Oh, nice chap, Boynton. Far less irritating than many of his contemporaries.
What's the trouble, Mr. Conklin?
I'm not a well man. I've had some very strange symptoms lately.
What kind of symptoms?
Well, every so often I get sudden, blinding flashes of appetite.
Oh, well, that's because you're under such a strain, Mr. Conklin. You see, under great emotional tension, many people experience sudden and uncontrollable appetites. It's psychosomatic to some extent.
Really? Now perhaps you'd like me to stretch out on the couch and tell me how, at the age of 3, I was convinced that my younger brother was a cocker spaniel.
Yours, too? I was only trying to stall. Help, Mr. Conklin. I had an aunt who suffered just like you do. I remember one time my uncle caught his nose in the piano bench. And he ran right down to the corner and bought herself a pickle.
A pickle?
It satisfied her nervous craving. When she stayed with us, we always had to keep a big supply of food on hand. Big juicy steaks, chops, and chicken, ducks, cold cuts, potato salad.
Please, Miss Brooks. I want my dinner.
But, Mr. Conklin, the others aren't... It's open. Come on in.
Oh, hello, Miss Brooks. And, Mr. Conklin, say, this is a surprise.
Hello, Boynton. Can we sit down now, Miss Brooks?
Not quite yet. Pull up a chair, Mr. Boynton.
Thanks. Well, how does the turkey look? Did you get a nice-sized bird?
Well, to be honest, Mr. Boynton, our turkey may not be such a big bird, but I'm sure the party is going to be a very big turkey. Oh, I almost forgot. There are some salted peanuts in this dish, Mr. Conklin.
One would almost think you were trying to destroy my appetite. But nothing can do that, Miss Brooks. Absolutely nothing.
Well, the door was open, so I just breezed on in. Hi, Miss Brooks.
Here comes nothing now.
Huh? Oh, hi, Mr. Boynton and Mr. Conklin.
Hello, Denton.
Miss Brooks, I've got some bad news for you.
You'll have to get in line, Walter. What is it?
Well, Stretch's aunt and uncle insisted that he have dinner with them today, so he can't possibly be here in time to eat with us. Isn't that awful?
I'm absolutely devastated.
Me too. Gosh, Miss Brooks, what'll we do with all the extra food that's left over?
We'll eat it.
At last! Come on! May I escort you to the dining room, Miss Brooks?
It won't be necessary, Mr. Boynton. I'll just follow Leo the lion.
I've cut the squab into small pieces and sprayed it with sweet air, Connie. Nobody will know it isn't turkey. Now then, keep the lid on this big tray except when you're serving, and they won't know how little we've got.
All right, Mrs. Davis. I might as well trot it in. Well, here we are. What'll you have, Mrs. Conklin?
Oh, serve Mr. Conklin first, will you, dear? He's quite hungry.
Certainly. Mr. Conklin, what'll it be?
I'll have a drumstick.
A drumstick. Yes, sir. Here you are. is it. You know what they say, the nearer the bone, the sweeter the meat.
If this has any meat on it, it must be inside the bone.
Well, this is a brand new breed of turkey, Mr. Conklin. They've been experimenting for years with this type on the theory that the shorter the legs, the larger the breast.
Oh, then give me some of that.
Yes, sir, here it is.
This is it?
This it is. You see, when they were experimenting with the short legs, the breast didn't quite get the idea of what they were trying to do.
Well, where are the wings?
This bird didn't get his wings. He flunked out in basic training.
Oh, I thought we'd never get out of that place. Fine dinner that was.
Take it easy, Osgood. We'll stop off on our way home and get a bite somewhere.
I thought the salmon was quite tasty. But, Mother, why do you suppose Miss Brooks took Mr. Boynton aside and then excused herself in the middle of the meal and left?
Why, it was obvious, dear. Miss Brooks wanted us to have enough to eat.
And to think we sent a beautiful 16-pound turkey to the mission.
Everything happens for the best, dear. See, that's the mission right ahead of us. What a big line of people waiting to be fed. Doesn't it do your heart good to know that we
Mother,
can...
look! That man with the 2 plates full of turkey.
Yeah, full of my turkey. Why, it's Mr. Boynton.
So it is. And who's that right behind him with the blue cap and hitting the big bass drum?
Hallelujah! Hallelujah! Open up your mission door. Open door, just one more.
Eve Arden as our Miss Brooks returns in just a moment, but first...
Dream girl, beautiful luster cream girl.
Tonight? Yes, tonight. Show him how much lovelier your hair can look after a Luster Cream shampoo. Luster Cream, world's finest shampoo. No other shampoo in the world gives Kay Dumit's magic blend of secret ingredients plus gentle lanolin. Not a soap, not a liquid. Luster Cream shampoo leaves hair 3 ways lovelier. Fragrantly clean, free of loose dandruff, glistening with sheen, soft, manageable. Even in hardest water, Luster Cream lathers instantly. No special rinse needed after a Luster Cream shampoo. So gentle, Luster Cream is wonderful even for children's hair. Tonight, yes, tonight, try Luster Cream shampoo.
Dream girl, beautiful luster cream girl. You owe your crowning glory to a luster cream shampoo.
And now, once again, here is our Miss Brooks.
Well, after Mr. Boynton and I had helped to feed over 50 underprivileged citizens, including Mr. Boynton and me, we found out that we had enough money between us to take in a movie. But on our way to the Strand, Mr. Boynton suddenly stopped.
Miss Brooks, helping out at the mission made me realize how lonely the most festive occasion can be if you're not sharing it with someone.
You're so right, Mr. Boynton. I guess you and I are pretty fortunate.
Oh, we certainly are. But I just remembered that there's another member of Madison's faculty who's all alone tonight and needs cheering up pretty badly. Let's do something about it, shall we, Miss Brooks?
Oh, that's a wonderful idea, Mr. Boynton. I'm all for it. I suppose you're referring to our French colleague, Monsieur Leblanche.
Oh, no, Miss Brooks. I was thinking of Miss Enright. Let's go pick her up right now.
Who needs teachers on a holiday?
Next week, tune into another Our Miss Brooks show brought to you by Luster Cream Shampoo for soft, glamorous, caressable hair and Colgate Dental Cream to clean your breath while you clean your teeth and help stop tooth decay.
Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden, is produced by Larry Burns, directed by Al Lewis, with music by Wilbur Hatch. Mr. Boynton is played by Jeff Chandler, Mr. Conklin by Gail Gordon.
Here's good shaving news. 3 men out of every 4 can get more comfortable, actually smoother shaves with Palmolive brushless shaving cream. This is not just a claim. Here's the proof. 1,297 men tried the Palmolive brushless way to shave described on the tube. And no matter how they shaved before, 3 men out of every 4 got more comfortable, actually smoother shaves. Try Palmolive Brushless yourself. See if you don't get more comfortable, actually smoother shaves the proved Palmolive Brushless way.
For mystery liberally sprinkled with laughs, listen to Mr. and Mrs. North. Tune in Tuesday evening over most of these same stations. And be with us again next week at the same time for another comedy episode of Our Miss Brooks. Bob Lamont speaking. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
That wraps up another edition of Condensed Bat-Supe, featuring 2 more parts of the Hate-Mongers organization from The Adventures of Superman. Thanks for listening. Be sure to tell your friends to subscribe to Bat-Supe on their favorite podcatcher. We can also be found on YouTube and Facebook. Like what you're hearing? Keep Bat-Supe ad-free by supporting us at buymeacoffee.com. Surf into buymeacoffee.com/BATSUPE. And thank you. We'll see you next time for another exciting edition of Condensed Bat-Supe as we bring you more of Superman's fight against the Hate-Mongers organization, plus another fine Bat-Supe Extra Helping. Until then, hop, hop, and away!
Truth is stranger than fiction. And this is the proof. This is Ripley's. Believe it or not.
President Ignacio Comonfort of Mexico headed a rebellion against himself. The distinguished soldier and politician became president of Mexico in December 1855. 2 years later, December 19th, 1857, he became an active rebel against himself and effected his own overthrow and exile, February 5th, 1858. Believe it or not.